Hey guys, EDDBUD here, and it's time for the very last running shoe yay or nay of 2020. So there's loads of bargains around right now out there on the internet. Any excuse for a wild yay or nay spending spree. There's 4 shoes I'll be considering today as possible candidates for an on-foot test. If you haven't seen this series before, this isn't me saying the shoe's great or it's terrible. Obviously with the shoe you've got to get it on your foot to properly test it out and run at some varied paces as well, see how it feels. So this is merely my opportunity to give some reasoning behind my selection choice, I suppose, for the yay or nay, or whether I'll be leaving them safely on the virtual shelves. Let's get straight into it. No messing about. So shoe number 1 today is the Nike Zoom Streak 7. This is a shoe that keeps popping up, has done, right across the whole year. All my news feeds, it's everywhere. This one's certainly a low to the ground racer, aimed for those shorter distances, but I know that some people have used them up to the marathon distance too. I can remember reading a load of information, in fact, about the Vaporfly 4%, and the Zoom Streak was always just there below it in all of the top times and finishing place positions. This one's had an upper refresh from the Zoom Streak 6, and also a Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat style colourway rejuvenation. It puts it firmly in with those Olympic colourways that were released, or at least for the Olympics that were supposed to happen this year. We had one for the Alphafly Next Percent, the Vaporfly Next Percent, and also the Zoom Fly 3. I think there were a couple of others as well. This one certainly fits in with those shoes. I think you've certainly got to say it's a fresh and crisp colourway. I really like the look of this one actually. You know that I'm a bit partial to those low stack racers as well. I like them light. I like them nimble. We got Zoom Air in the heel and some significant rubber there in the outsole with a weight relieved midsole too. There's a little Pebax plate poking its head through the midsole there. I think I'll find it hard to stop myself from picking this one up for only 59 Earth credits. So it's definitely a yay for me for the Nike Zoom Streak 7. Shoe 2. We all know that Adidas fouled it up on the SL20.2. That SL20 was just so good this year. A sad upper change that wasn't really needed. It really altered the characteristics of the shoe in the wrong direction. It got me thinking about the history of the SL series. I've been chatting a little bit with viewer Amado about that series and I wondered what the originals were like. So I searched about and found the SL72. Clearly a retro shoe this one, but when it was released it was certainly aimed at the Olympics that were happening in Munich that year. I'm a sucker for those old school Adidas looks. This one's a killer. Adidas themselves quote this one as being a track inspired street shoe. I see no reason why you couldn't use this one as a running shoe. It's got all the right things in the right places. I think the line between a training shoe and a running shoe is a little bit blurred sometimes, certainly with these low stack shoes. A few people might throw their hands up in the air and say, I can't run in this. I think you could probably run in anything really, couldn't you, if you wanted to? Put your dress shoes on, you could run in those. I know there's a race somewhere where they just run in high heels. I see some DNA here in this shoe from the Adi Zero series from this year. I think there's also some design cues there from the Samba shoes. I used to remember wearing those back when I was playing football when I was a wee nipper. I think this retro release could still be good for a fast 5k. I think I'm run over by the running casual style of this shoe too. I think it was good enough for people in the Munich 72 Olympics and it's good enough for me. It'll also give me the chance to do a history video about the SL series as well. I can think of one man that will be very excited about that. Maybe he can even help me out with a bit of the script for that video. I think it's going to be a yay for me for the SL72 from Adidas. I think at 40 Earth credits as well, you can't really lose, can you? Before we get into the next section of the video, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when we launch those new videos. And if you're enjoying the video, it really helps the channel out if you give it a thumbs up like. Shoe 3. The HOKA Oni Carbon X2 is set to release very soon here in the UK. They're just squeezing it in before the end of the year. But I'm going to delay picking this shoe up for one reason. The upper and the midsoles on recent HOKA Oni shoes really haven't worked out that well for me. You can look back to several shoes. The Rincon, that was just too tight and narrow in the midfoot. I found the Carbon X original version very firm in the midsole. It really commanded my foot strike as well. I didn't feel like I was running in a natural sort of way. The Clifton 7.2, just too mushy, too much cushion there. And the upper was just huge. They were so generous in terms of the material. It felt like I had a clog on my foot. I hope the Carbon X2 doesn't fall into any of these categories, and it's a very successful shoe. Let's hope they've tailored the implementation of the technologies a little bit better. I'm keen to see if those upper changes, and certainly that increased length on the tongue, really improve the fit. It is the same Pro Fly midsole material here in the new version of the shoe that was featured in the previous one, though it's certainly not going to be the lightest of shoes. HOKA give a 239 gram weight for the UK size 8.5, so it's going to be up there. Quite a competitive price point though. For the time being, it's going to be a nay for me on this shoe. I want to see some positive information coming forth about the fit. Is the upper going to be cut in a reasonable way? It seems to be a problem perhaps with HOKAs in the higher sizes, especially if you go for half sizes. They just seem to make the upper way too big. I've been burnt too many times in the past. So a nay on that one for the time being. Shoe 4, and the last one for today, is from Asics, the Tarther Japan. I think this is a really beautiful looking running shoe. Features a seamless upper and numerous nods to the Asics Meta Racer. Certainly a very low to the floor design, this one. Again, another one of those racers you see. They just seem to catch my eye. There's some serious protrusions there in the outsole, mainly in the forefoot area. I'm really intrigued by the use of that truss-stick system in the midsole and outsole. Seems quite close to the implementation of that torsion plate that we saw in the SL20 and the Adidas 4. We know that Asics shoes stand up to the test of time, and it seems like quite a reasonable heel to toe drop on this one. Not too crazy. Sports shoes currently have this one discounted by 52%, but sadly, alas, not in my size. I think if I can find one in the right size, it's a firm yay for me for the Asics Tarther Japan. Okay, that's all 4 shoes in the running shoe yay or nay for today. Let me know what your take is on each of those shoes down in the comments. A quick musical interlude for you. I've been listening to Sheffield's finest, Richard Hawley, with his album Ladies Bridge. Not a bad track to be found on this one. Released back in 2007, I can't quite believe it was that long ago. Valentine's a beautiful song. Bit of a nod, I guess, to the Big O, Mr. Roy Orbison. Quite a romantic song, quite a sentimental tune. I really do like the rockabilly vibes on Serious, which is track 3, and track 4 as well, Tonight, The Streets Are Ours. There's some fantastic guitar tones on this record. If you like guitars, electric guitars, then you'll find it here. A really good mixture actually on this album between faster, more up-tempo tracks and more ballad style tunes. I was lucky enough to pick up like a special edition of this, which has got a DVD with it as well, with a short film with some great content in too. So go and check that one out. If you've never heard of him before, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Mr. Richard Hawley with Ladies Bridge. Okay, that's about all for me for today, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video and thanks for sticking with me till the very end. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell below for notifications of when the new videos are launched. It really does help the channel out if you give this video a thumbs up like and keep sharing it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you